Long time ago, in the rolling hills of Machakos County, there lived a young man named Kipchoge Wangi. Now, don't let that name fool you. This wasn't your typical village boy. Kipchoge had the hands that could coax life from the most stubborn soil and a heart bigger than Lake Victoria itself. Every morning, Kipchoge would wake up to the sound of his grandmother's voice calling, "Kipchoge, the palm trees won't harvest themselves." But this particular morning was different. Today, his heart was dancing like a chameleon on a hot tin roof because he was going to see Wanjiku. Wanjiku Njeri, the village beauty with a smile that could make even the elders forget their walking sticks. She was the daughter of Nzi Makamau, the village shopkeeper, and every young man in 3 villages tried to win her heart. But it was Kipchoge who succeeded, much to everyone's surprise. My friend, his best friend Makaria teased, "You must have fed her some very special jittery for her to choose you over all these other suitors." Kipchoge just laughed. "Brother, when love is real, it doesn't need seasoning." The two had been inseparable since childhood, sharing dreams under the baobab tree and planning their future together. Wanjiku was brilliant, the kind of brilliance that made teachers shake their heads in wonder. She scored enough to enter the university, but her family couldn't afford the fees. "Wanjiku," Kipchoge said one evening, "I want you to go to university." Wanjiku laughed, that melodious sound that made his heart skip. "With which money, my love? You know my father's shop barely puts food on our table." "I will pay for it," Kipchoge said. The silence that followed was so thick that you could cut it with a panga. Wanjiku turned to stare at him in disbelief. "Kipchoge, are you feeling well? Did you hit your head on a coconut tree?" "I'm serious, Wanjiku. I have my palm plantations, my banana trees, my maize field. I can sell some palm wine, work extra jobs, do whatever it takes. One of us needs to be educated, and you are the brilliant one." Wanjiku hugged him. "But what about us? What about our plans to marry next year, my love?" "We will marry after you graduate," Kipchoge said. "Then we will have a proper wedding, and you will be my educated wife. Our children will be proud of both their parents." And so began Kipchoge's transformation from a comfortable young farmer to a man possessed by purpose. Every dawn, he was high up in the palm trees harvesting sap that later turned to palm wine. His hands, once soft from easy life of a landowner, became rough and calloused. He took on every menial job he could find, carrying bags at the markets, loading trucks, even clearing the chief's compound. The village women shook their heads as they watched him pass by. "That boy is bewitched," they whispered. "No man in his right mind would kill himself for a woman's education," they said. But Kipchoge didn't mind. Every shilling he earned went to Wanjiku's school fees, accommodation, and upkeep. He counted the money carefully every evening. His fingers stained from palm sap and debt, but his heart light with purpose. Wanjiku's first year at the University of Nairobi was like a dream. She was studying business administration. She called Kipchoge one morning, her voice bubbling with excitement about her lectures, her new friends, her growing knowledge. "My love," she said, "you cannot imagine what I'm learning. Did you know that businesses can be expanded internationally? Maybe when I finish, we can export our palm wine to other countries." Kipchoge listened, his tired body relaxing for the first time. "Tell me more, my educated wife-to-be," he said, and they would talk until his cell phone battery ran out. But the city has a way of changing people slowly. It started in her second year. Wanjiku grew more confident. her village accent softening into something more urban. She had new friends, wore new clothes that Kipchoge's money bought, and began to see the world through different eyes. That was when she met him. Daniel Kimani was everything Kipchoge wasn't. City-born, university-educated and wealthy enough to drive a sleek BMW that purred like a contented cat. He was the son of a prominent businessman with soft hands that had never known hard work and a smile that promised easy living. Wanjiku, he said one afternoon as she ate in the university cafeteria, you are too beautiful to be eating ugali and sukuma wiki. Let me show you how city people live. Daniel's courtship was subtle, like a python slowly wrapping around its prey. He appeared just at the right moment, when Wanjiku was stressed about exams, when she felt lonely, when she was tired of counting every shilling. Come to my apartment, he said. I have a cook who makes the best pilau in Nairobi. You can study there in peace. At first, Wanjiku was careful. She would visit but always leave before dark, always maintained her boundaries. But Daniel was patient, playing the long game with the skill of a chess master. You know, he said casually, you will make someone a beautiful wife. You are beautiful, intelligent, and you know how to take care of a home. These words were like honey to Wanjiku's ears. After months of eating simple meals and wearing simple clothes, the luxury of Daniel's life was intoxicating. She began to spend more time at his apartment, cleaning, cooking, proving her worth as a wife material. Meanwhile, back in the village, Kipchoge was working harder than ever. His palm trees had never been more productive. His banana plantations were thriving, and he was even planning on starting a small poultry project. Every success was dedicated to Wanjiku's future, their future. But he was beginning to notice changes in their phone calls. Wanjiku, my love, you sound distant these days. Is everything okay? I'm fine, Kipchoge. Just tired. School is very demanding. When are you coming home for the holidays, my love? I can't come this time. I have a group project that requires me to stay back in Nairobi. The excuses became more frequent, more elaborate. Wanjiku, who used to call every evening, now only called when she needed money. Kipchoge, I need money for textbooks. Kipchoge, my roommate is asking for her share of the rent. Kipchoge, I need money for field trip. And Kipchoge, with his heart full of love and his head full of dreams, always sent the money. He sold extra palm wine, worked extra hours, and skipped meals just to meet up with Wanjiku's growing school fees. His friends became worried. Brother, Macaria said one evening as they sat under the baobab tree outside Kipchoge's house. Have you noticed Wanjiku hasn't been home in 8 months? Wanjiku looked up. She's busy with her studies, Macaria. University is not like primary school where you come back home every day. But Kipchoge, my cousin is also at the university. He says the students come home for holidays. They don't disappear for months. Other friends began to voice their concerns. The village elders who initially praised Kipchoge's sacrifice now shook their heads in disapproval. That boy is being used, old Mzichege said one morning. No woman forgets her home unless she had found a new one. The village women were less kind. Kipchoge has been bewitched, they whispered. No man in his right mind would walk like a donkey for a woman who has clearly forgotten him. Some called him woman rapper. Others said he was hypnotized. And the young men who had once envied his success with Wanjiku now looked at him with pity. My friend, his neighbor Kamal advised, maybe it's time to open your eyes. That girl is eating your money in the city while you are here killing yourself. But Kipchoge's heart was still full of hope. Every time doubt crept in, he would remember Wanjiku's tears of gratitude, her promises, her dreams for their future together. He would push himself even harder, worked longer hours, and sacrificed more. Grace, Wanjiku's university friend who happened to be from a neighboring village, came home for the holidays with stories that made the village elders' blood boil. You want to know where Wanjiku spent all her time? Grace told her aunt, who told her neighbor, who told her friend, who eventually told Kipchoge's grandmother. She's playing house with some rich boy. She cooks for him, cleans for him, does his laundry. She tells everyone she's practicing to be his wife. When the news reached Kipchoge, he felt like he had been struck by lightning. He sat under the baobab tree where he and Wanjiku made their promises and called Wanjiku. For once, she picked up immediately. Kipchoge, I was about to call you. I need money for Wanjiku. He interrupted. When last did you tell me you loved me? There was a long silence. What kind of question is that? Of course I love you. You know I love you. Then why haven't you been home in 8 months? I told you, school is very demanding. I have assignments, group projects. Wanjiku, please, talk to me. What have I done wrong? Why do you only call me when you need money? Kipchoge, you are being paranoid. I'm just focused on my studies so I can make us proud. Don't you want me to succeed again? And with that emotional manipulation, Wanjiku turned the conversation around, making Kipchoge feel guilty for questioning her, making him feel like he was the one being unreasonable. And of course, Kipchoge apologized and added extra money to her earlier demand. Wanjiku's final year at the university was approaching, and Kipchoge planned the surprise of a lifetime. He had been saving money for months, working extra jobs, selling part of his land. He bought a ring, the best he could afford. He arranged with his friends to accompany him to the university on the final exam day. Today is the day, he told Makaria as they prepared for the journey to Nairobi. Today, I asked the love of my life to marry me. Makaria and 3 other friends who agreed to go along, partly to support Kipchoge, partly out of curiosity to see how this long-distance relationship would work out. Kipchoge dressed in his best clothes. He carried a bouquet of flowers because he had seen that in the movies. The University of Nairobi was intimidating to these village boys. The buildings were tall, the students looked sophisticated, and everything moved at a pace that made their rural lives seem slow and simple. They found Wanjiku outside the examination hall, surrounded by her friends. When she saw Kipchoge, her face went pale. Kipchoge, what are you doing here? My love, Kipchoge smiled. You finished your exams. You're now a graduate. I'm so proud of you. He dropped to one knee, pulled out a ring. Wanjiku Jerry, will you marry me? The silence that followed was deafening. Students stepped to watch. Some pulled out their phones to record. Wanjiku's friends looked uncomfortable and exchanging glances. Kipchoge, get up, Wanjiku said. Get up, you're embarrassing me. Please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so by now. If you love my stories and enjoy them, I work hard to bring them your way. Please kindly subscribe. Wanjiku, please. I said get up. She snapped. What is wrong with you? How can you come here and embarrass me like this? Kipchoge stood up slowly, confusion and hurt written across his face. Wanjiku, I don't understand. We've been planning this even before you entered university. You are graduated now. But can we get married? Married? Wanjiku laughed. Kipchoge, I can't marry you. I'm educated now. I can't marry a village boy who smells like palm wine and has dirt under his fingernails. The words hit Kipchoge like a physical blow. Around them, students began to whisper and point. Someone was definitely recording this humiliation. But Wanjiku, Kipchoge said, I paid for your education. I worked day and night. I sold my land. I sacrificed and I am grateful. Wanjiku said dismissively. But gratitude is not love, Kipchoge. I've outgrown you. I'm a university graduate now. I need someone who can actually match my level, not you. Kipchoge's friends moved closer. Macaria stepped forward. Wanjiku, have you forgotten where you came from? This man literally killed himself for you. No one asked him to. Wanjiku replied coldly. That was his choice. I never promised him anything. You promised him everything, Macaria shouted. You promised to marry him after your graduation. Yes, people change, Wanjiku said. I'm not the same village girl who left 4 years ago. I have standards now. The crowd was growing larger. Some students were laughing. Others looked uncomfortable. Kipchoge felt like the ground was swallowing him whole. Let's go, he said to his friends. Let's just go. As they walked away, one of Wanjiku's friends said loudly, Girl, you handled that village boy perfectly. Can you imagine if you had actually married him? The journey to the village was the longest of Kipchoge's life. His friends were furious, cursing Wanjiku and her ingratitude, but Kipchoge sat in silence. His heart was shattered in a million pieces. My friend, Macaria said, that woman is not worth your tears. She's a snake. She's a user. Hey, please, Kipchoge said, I just want to get home. Weeks after the humiliation, Kipchoge barely left his house. He sat under the baobab tree staring at nothing, his heart empty. The village buzzed with the news of what happened. Some people felt sorry for him. Others said they had seen it coming. That boy needs to wake up, one of the village women said. He's been sleeping for 4 whole years. His grandmother, Kuku Wanjiru, finally had enough. She marched to his house one morning. Kipchoge Wange, she said, her voice sharp as razor. How long are you going to cry over a woman who never deserved you? Kuku, I gave her everything. And what did she give you? Nothing but pain and embarrassment. You think you are the first man to be fooled by a beautiful face. Get up, dust yourself off and remember who you are. But Kuku, I loved her. Love? Kuku laughed bitterly. That wasn't love. My grandson, that was stupidity. Love is when two people build together, sacrifice together, drink together. That girl used you like a matatu uses petrol. She sucked you dry and left you at the station. Kuku's words were harsh, but necessary. Slowly, Kipchoge began to heal. He threw himself into his work with renowned vigor, channeling his pain into productivity. His palm plantation expanded, his banana trees multiplied, and he started a successful poultry business. Within a year, he had not only recovered from his financial sacrifices, but had actually grown wealthier. The village elders began to respect him again, seeing his resilience and business acumen. That boy, Mzichege said, he's learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the greatest gift is a broken heart that teaches you your worth. 2 years after the university humiliation, Kipchoge transformed completely. He was now one of the most successful young farmers in the district, owning multiple businesses and commanding respect wherever he went. It was at a church function that he met her. Atiano Ocheng, a lawyer who recently moved to the area to open a branch office for her prestigious Nairobi law firm. She was beautiful, but her beauty was different from Wanjiku's. It was confident, grounded, and came from within. Excuse me, sir, she said to Kipchoge after service. I heard you are the one who supplies the best palm wine in the district. I'm planning a small gathering for my colleagues, and I would like to purchase some to show off the beauty of rural life. Kipchoge looked at this confident woman in her elegant dress and felt something stir in his chest. I'll be happy to help, he said. When do you need it? Tomorrow evening. If that's possible, I know it's such a short notice. No problem at all. I will deliver it personally. As Kipchoge delivered the palm wine to Atieno's gathering, he was struck by how different she was from Wanjiku. She treated him with respect, introduced him to her colleagues as Mr. Wangi, a successful local entrepreneur, and insisted on paying him immediately. You know, she said as he prepared to leave, I'm curious about your business. Would you be interested in discussing some legal structures that might help you expand? That conversation led to another and another. Slowly, carefully, Kipchoge began to open his heart again. Atieno was everything Wanjiku wasn't. She was educated but humble, successful but grounded, beautiful but kind. She appreciated Kipchoge's hard work, respected his journey, and saw potentials in his dreams. You know, Kipchoge, she said one evening as they walked through his plantation, what you built here is very impressive. You're a natural businessman. Thank you, Atieno, but I'm just a village boy who works hard. Don't say that, she said. You're an entrepreneur, a visionary. You saw opportunities where others saw only problems. That's not what village boy thinking does. That's leadership. Their courtship was mature, built on mutual respect and shared dreams. Atieno helped Kipchoge structure his businesses legally, while he showed her the beauty of rural life and the satisfaction of building something from nothing. When Kipchoge proposed to Atieno, it was under the same baobab tree outside his house. Atieno, he said as he knelt before her, I've learned that love is not just about sacrifice alone. It's about building together, growing together, respecting each other. Will you marry me, a village farmer? Yes, she said, tears in her eyes. I will marry you, a visionary. While Kipchoge was building his new life, Wanjiku was discovering the harsh reality of city life. Daniel, the wealthy young man who had seduced her with promises of luxury, had never been serious about marriage. For 2 years, Wanjiku played the role of a perfect potential wife. She cooked his meals, cleaned his apartment, washed his clothes, warmed his bed even. She had convinced herself that she was proving her worth, that any day from now, he would propose. But Daniel had been playing a different game entirely. Wanjiku, he said one evening as she served him dinner. I have exciting news. My girlfriend is coming back from London next week. Wanjiku froze. Your girlfriend? Yes. Didn't I mention her? We've been together for 6 years. She's been studying abroad, but now she's back and we're getting married. But what about me? Wanjiku asks. What about you? You've been a great company. You're an excellent housekeeper, actually. I'm thinking of recommending you to my fiancé as a personal maid. You know the house. You know my preferences. Maid? Wanjiku's voice cracked. You want me to be your maid? Well, yes. We are very good at domestic work, and the pay will be decent. The humiliation was complete. Wanjiku realized that while she had been dreaming of becoming Daniel's wife, he had been using her as a free domestic help. The man who had promised her heaven on earth was actually preparing her for hell. Desperate and ashamed, Wanjiku packed her few belongings and returned to the village. She had no job, no money, no prospects. Her degree, the one Kipchoge sacrificed so much for, seemed worthless in the face of her poor choices. She went directly to Kipchoge's house, hoping to reconcile, to apologize, to somehow rebuild what she had destroyed. Please subscribe at this point if you haven't. And please, I'm pleading, please subscribe. Kipchoge, she said when he answered the door. I've made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. I was foolish. I was blinded by the city. Wanjiku, Kipchoge said. What are you doing here? I want to come back. I want us to try again. I realize now that what I have done, what we had was real. That you truly loved me. Had, Kipchoge said. What we had is in the past. I've moved on, Wanjiku. I'm engaged to someone else. Engaged? Wanjiku felt the world spinning. But you can't be. You loved me. You said you always loved me. I did. I did love you, Wanjiku. I loved you with everything I had. But you chose to throw that love away. You chose to humiliate me. To call me a village boy. To act like my sacrifices meant nothing. But I was young and stupid. I've learned my lessons. I know now that you're the one for me. No, Wanjiku. You learned that your other choice didn't work out. That's not the same thing. Wanjiku's begging turned to harassment. She would show up at Kipchoge's house at all hours, crying, pleading, making scenes. She would follow him to the market, to church, to business meetings. Atieno, being a lawyer, recognized the signs immediately. Kipchoge, she said, this woman is stalking you. This is harassment. It's illegal. I don't want to make troubles for her, Atieno. She's clearly desperate, and desperate people can be dangerous. I'm filing a restraining order. Do whatever you want, my love. When the court papers were served, Wanjiku was shocked. She had never imagined that Kipchoge, her former village boyfriend, could wield such legal powers. How did you get such a powerful lawyer? She asked when she confronted him. She's my fiancée, Kipchoge said simply. Advocate Atieno Ocheng. She's the best lawyer in the district. Your fiancé is a lawyer? Wanjiku's voice was barely above a whisper. Yes, she's educated, successful, and she chose to love me, not because I can pay her school fees, but because she sees my worth. The irony was not lost on Wanjiku. She had rejected Kipchoge because she wanted an educated, successful partner. Now, he had exactly that, but she was no longer worthy of him. Kipchoge and Atieno's wedding was the event of the year in the village. The ceremony was elegant, but rooted in tradition, showing respect for both their cultures. Atieno's colleagues from Nairobi attended, amazed by the beauty of rural life and the sophistication of Kipchoge's operation. Wanjiku watched from a distance, her heart heavy with regrets. She had lost the best man she had ever known because she was blinded by superficial attractions and false promises. 5 years later, Kipchoge and Atieno had built an empire. Their businesses spanned across 3 countries. They had 2 beautiful children. They were respected throughout the region. Atieno used her legal expertise to help other local entrepreneurs, while Kipchoge became a mentor to young farmers. Wanjiku, on the other hand, struggled to find work. Her degree was useful, but her reputation preceded her. In a small community, character matters more than certificates. She eventually found work as a clerk in a distant town, far away from the village where she had once been a princess. The story of Kipchoge and Wanjiku became a cautionary tale told around firesides and in barber shop. It taught several important lessons. Personally, these are the few I relate to. Never take someone's love for granted. Kipchoge had offered Wanjiku pure sacrificial love. She had treated it like it was a commodity to be discarded when something better came along. Character matters more than certificates. Wanjiku had gained education but lost her character. Kipchoge had no formal education but possessed integrity, which ultimately proved more valuable. True love is built on mutual respect and shared values, not on what one person can provide for the other. Shortcuts often lead to dead ends. And lastly, what goes around comes around. Njiku had publicly humiliated Kipchoge, calling him a village boy. In the end, she found herself begging for that same village boy's second chance. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Like, share and comment. Till I bring you another interesting, intriguing African story. God bless you.